You guys, I have been self-employed for 10 years. 10 years this week. This is really completely unbelievable to me because I had no idea what to expect when I quit my day job to make yarn full time. I told myself I'm going to try this. I can try it right now because I don't have a lot of responsibilities and we'll see how it goes. I have learned so much. I have struggled so much. I have had weird, unexpected successes like improving my credit score or getting a lifetime achievement award from Midwest CraftCon. Like weird, crazy, wonderful things have happened. Today I want to look back on the last 10 years with you and share some reflections that might help you in your own business journey. Welcome to Explore Your Enthusiasm, episode 265 with me, Tara Swiger. I have been running a business full-time since July 1st, 2009. My business actually started in 2006, but I did it in nights and weekends till it could replace my day job. So I quit a job in an office in part because I worked for a state university. I was an administrative assistant in HR, which mainly meant I was in charge of the Retirees Association, taking notes for it and updating the website and managing some spreadsheets. But I worked at a state university and the state cut funding. So the university started a hiring freeze and then they started to do a buyout program. So I applied for the buyout and I got accepted and I took it. And by the way, the buyout let us pay off the car that we only had a couple more payments on and to help us rent a U-Haul to move from the apartment we lived in to another house that was the same price, just more space for my yarn. So I took it because at that point I had already grown the business to a place where it replaced my day job salary most months. Now, I actually talk way more about my business journey and what happened after that and what happened before that in the very first episode of this podcast, which is 265 episodes ago. And you're going to hear it again next week. I'm going to rebroadcast the oldest, most popular, best topic episodes as a celebration of both 10 years of self-employment this month and so that I can spend more time with my foster kids this summer. I'm rebroadcasting the older, important episodes from the last 5 years of the show. So in July, you're going to hear some of the oldest episodes, the ones I released that first year, but that I think are the most important and that lots of you guys have not listened to yet. I can tell by the download numbers. They're much tinier than how many people listen to an episode now. So we're going to rebroadcast those in July, and then in August every week you'll hear the most popular episodes ever. So they're about how to stop seeking approval, how to deal with disapproval, the pressure to be perfect. So you don't have to do anything extra to get those episodes. Just make sure you've subscribed in whatever podcasting app you're listening to. Tune in each week and you're going to get a new intro from current Tara about that episodes and any extra pointers as you're listening, things to pay attention to. And then you're going to get the old episode, and those really old ones actually come with an old musical intro. A lot of you guys messaged me that you love the musical intro, and I've even been sent videos of your kids dancing to it, which I love. The old musical intro was really bad, as was like my talking. So you'll get current Tara introducing you to past Tara, and then you'll get the lessons from past Tara. And then I will be back in September with brand new episodes. So let me know which of those older episodes are your absolute favorite. You can talk to me anytime over on Instagram. I'm at Tara Swiger. That's the fastest way to get a hold of me. And you can leave reviews of the podcast. Please be kind about the audio quality of the older shows. You can leave a review on podcast or wherever you listen to this show. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you can always give the videos a thumbs up. So as I was talking in the Starship about being self-employed for 10 years, Jenny asked, if you could have a do-over, would you change the rate of growth of your business? Would you grow faster, slower, or the same? Now, whenever I think about changing anything in my past, my answer is always, I wouldn't change anything, because if you change one thing, you wouldn't end up where you are. And I am very happy and proud and content where I am today. But that's kind of an annoying answer. So I really thought about this some more. And the thing is about my rate of growth is, sure, if I could have scaled to more profit quicker, especially in the earlier days, that would have been fabulous. I would definitely take more money because I would prefer to skip over the years of being really broke, of my business just covering our bills. And I would like to have not felt so nervous about our business covering our bills for the first couple years. But if I would do that, I would have other growth-related problems. And the fact is, I wasn't ready to handle those problems until I grew. So I needed to grow up and get more confident in handling the business issues that come with scaling and making more money. So one of the truths about business that I've learned in the last 10 years is that your business grows as fast as you do. And this is annoying, and I wish this wasn't true, and I wish that there was another way around this, but it's really true, and it's really profound when you start to understand it. Your business grows as fast as you do. If you're expanding your belief in yourself, if you're setting up systems, if you're confident, if you're assured, if you're taking action, you are going to grow. Your business is going to grow. But if you get stuck somewhere emotionally, mentally, if you leave something undealt with that you're just not dealing with that you need to, your business will grow as much as you have up until you get stuck at that point, until there's something about that keeps you from being able to move forward. And the sad truth is, you are always the bottleneck. Whether it's that you don't know how to let go or delegate, or you don't believe in yourself, your business, or your mission, or you're not taking care of yourself, or you're running yourself way too hard, or you don't value yourself, and so you're not charging enough, or you're not putting enough boundaries up around your time. Whatever it is, you are the bottleneck. Your personal growth is the bottleneck of business and profit growth. So the answer to Jenny's question is, yeah, I'd absolutely prefer that my business grew faster if that meant I was growing and developing faster. If that meant I had dealt with the stuff, internal and external, that I needed to deal with in order for my business to grow. But I couldn't skip over learning what I needed to learn. There is no way to have that growth without having to deal with that learning sooner or later. So if I had done it all faster, then sure, I'll definitely take more money. So let's talk about what are some of those lessons I needed to learn and that I have learned and that I really think apply to almost all of you. The first one is what I call rule number one in your business, which is figure out how you make money. Now, I know this seems obvious. You make a sale, you make money. But do you? What's the amount of profit on that sale? So often in the early stages of a business, they're just focusing on sales and they're actually losing money because whatever they're doing to get that sale, or the product and the shipping and the everything that goes into that sale, actually costs more than the money they're making from that sale. So I teach this math because I think it's foundational in the class Pay Yourself, which is only available inside the Starship program. So if you want to learn more about figuring that out, like if you're actually making money, the more sales you make, you might be surprised at the answer, and you can learn the math and how to fix the math when you're aboard the Starship, which you can find out about at tarswiger.com/starship. But once you know that you're making money with a sale, the next question is, how do you actually make a sale? You might be listening and thinking, yeah, Tar, I wish you would tell me how you make a sale. But here's the thing, what you do that generates a sale is going to be different than anyone else. The question for you to ask and for you to experiment with in your business is, what do you do that generates a sale almost every time that you do it? Or maybe it's that you have to do a thing 5 times to get one sale. And basically, every time you do it at least 5 times and you make one sale, that is what you need to know. This is the thing to figure out before you've got your whole marketing plan and you figured out what you're doing for the next year. Before you commit to whatever for every day of the next year, test it out. What do I do that results in a sale pretty much every time? How often do I have to do X thing to get the sale? Maybe it's that you have to reach out to 10 shops to get one wholesale account with a shop. Maybe you have to have 100 things at a craft show or a farmer's market to actually make regular sales at that. You find if you just show up with 50, you don't make any. So start to look at what you have to do in order to make the sale and get it really, really clear. So for some of you, it's going to be you do a weekly farmer's market. You need to go to the farmer's market with X amount of things and you're going to make sales. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you need to know. So then I want you to start at looking at what you want to buy, either for yourself or for the business, in terms of what you'll need to do to make enough sales for the profit of those sales to afford that thing. In other words, you're breaking down anything, the cost of anything. Maybe you want to join the Starship. So you break down the cost of the Starship into how many products would you have to sell at the profit margin you have in order to afford it. Now, how many times will I have to do whatever action results in sales in order to make that many sales? This is where all of my initial growth came from. I would want to do a thing like a big craft show across the country. How could I afford the trip? Well, I'd have to sell X skeins of yarn, so I'd have to have Y listings on Etsy, followed by Z emails, because emails were the thing that generated sales back in 2008, 2009. And then I would need to do it. So I would need myself enough time to make the stuff, do the Etsy listings, and also write the emails and have the emails generate sales in time for me to go to the craft show. Now, over time, this isn't your strategy forever and ever, but you need to know this first. Over time, you need to become consistent in doing the things that generate sales, whether you're wanting to buy something or not, so that you have an idea of what you can regularly make. But to scale up or to push yourself out of a plateau, or when you're just getting started, challenge yourself to make a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time and then figure out what you have to do to hit it. Again, I want to stress that this is not a long-term path to consistent income, but you have to have the knowledge of what you do that generates sales before you can ever scale to a consistent income, so that you become consistent with your actions around the right stuff. So if you spend right now half of your working time posting on Instagram, and an Instagram post has never led to a sale, then you're not spending your time on the right things. Now maybe for you an Instagram post leads to sales, in which case do those things. Do the things that will lead to sales. I know this sounds obvious, but this is like whenever people are struggling with their business, this is what I go back to. What do you do that leads to sales? Okay, are you doing it? The next lesson is everything is figure outable. You can figure out how you make sales. It's not something you have to have someone else tell you. There is no question in my business that I cannot answer. This has been a huge lesson and a huge thing I have to remind myself of all the time. There is no problem that I do not have the skills, ability to research. There's no problem that I can't overcome. As long as I think that something is a mystery, or it's something someone else is just naturally good at, it's always going to be a mystery. I'm never going to be naturally good at it. The good news is I can always figure it out. Always. That's really it. That's the end of the lesson. Everything is figure outable. The more I believe in that, the more my business grows. And it's just true. It's true if you make it true. Everything won't be figure outable though if you walk around in a constant moan about how you don't know how to do stuff and how nobody's telling you what to do, how you're not sure what the next steps are. You can figure it out and you have to take ownership of figuring it out. It sounds like tough love, but this is actually tough love to like past Tara. I was going to say old Tara. I guess young Tara, past Tara. Now, the next lesson is that taxes are serious, but they're not excuses. So you don't need to be scared of taxes. You need to have a plan for taxes. Now, one of my biggest pet peeves is people who are afraid to make money because they'll owe taxes. When anybody says, well, I don't know because I don't know how much taxes I would owe. Look, you can figure that out. And that's no reason not to make money. You should hope, if you want to have a business, that you will owe taxes, because that means you were profitable. So if you want your business to be sustainable, if you want your business to pay for things in your life, if you want your business to thrive, it's going to be profitable and you're going to owe taxes. Those things are interrelated. So I've always been happy, thrilled when I do my taxes. I see I have a profit, woohoo, and I owe taxes. But I haven't always had a good plan for paying those taxes. So I didn't plan well and I owed taxes. But what I want to tell you and what I want to go back and tell past young, scared Tara is it's okay. It's actually not a huge deal. This isn't something that the IRS is very confused about. And it's not a huge deal as long as you always file your taxes on time and you always talk to the IRS. As long as you are not cheating, lying, or failing to do it or failing to answer them, you're not going to get thrown in jail tomorrow. Now, I am not a tax accountant. You should talk to a tax accountant. Don't take your advice from a French major on I was going to say Instagram, but I'm on YouTube or iTunes right now. But everybody I've ever talked to at the IRS is very friendly and helpful. So it's nothing to be afraid of having to talk to them, having questions, but it is something to take seriously. Make a plan. If your goal is to make $10,000 this year in profit, then save 20% of that. Break it down into quarters. Make sure every quarter you've saved at least 20% of that. And if you live in another country, your taxes are probably much higher, but also remember, you're not having to pay for your own health insurance. Anyhow, no complaints about taxes. Taxes pay for things. No, it doesn't even matter what taxes pay for things. You have a profitable business. The more you associate taxes with meaning your business is succeeding, the happier you'll be. And above that, the more you already have the money in savings to pay your taxes each quarter, the happier you'll be. Young Tara, listen to me now. Now, to go along with that, the next lesson is I can trust myself. I am my business's best resource. So I talked about everything is figure outable, including what to do with your taxes and talking to the IRS. It's all figure outable. It's all okay. But this is like everything is a figure outable. It's like the world has the answer to the problem. I can trust myself that I will find the right answer. So the first step I feel like is deciding everything's figure outable. The next stage is realizing that you can figure it out. So we make our business, our dreams, the things we want to do big and scary, but nothing is as risky as it feels like it is. Maybe skydiving is as risky as it seems like it is. But nothing in your business or your dreams or your life is as risky as we think it is. There are always other options if things don't go well. If you, which I would never advise, but if you mortgaged your whole house for some dream, you know what? You can sell the house, you can move into a smaller apartment, you can get a job at Starbucks. There is always a way out, and you can handle it no matter what the problem is. So what I know for sure is that I always figure it out. I can trust myself in any situation and I will be okay. I will make a good decision. Often there's not a right decision. So it's really important that I trust myself that I'm going to make a good one, because there is no power to tell me what is the right decision between trying to decide if I should order 10 pounds of wool or 20 pounds of wool. I don't know, honey. Just decide. It'll be fine. So I need to trust myself and then commit to whatever I decided. Commit to making it work. If I go with the 20 pounds of wool, how am I going to sell that 20 pounds of wool as yarn? What am I going to do? Am I going to do an extra show? Am I going to do more a week? Like what? What am I going to do with it? That's what I mean with trust yourself and then commit to whatever you decided. Commit to follow through on it. Don't just buy the bigger order of supplies and then let them languish and be like, oh no, I'm so stressed out about that. Like figure out how to sell them. So I am my best resource. And that means that my number one job, after I know, rule number one is know how you make money. Job number one, I have many number ones. Job number one is to keep my business resource, AKA me, in the best condition possible. This isn't about a size or clean eating or anything full of shoulds or shame or that the rest of society tells you could be concerned with. This is about me giving myself what I need. It's about feeling what I feel, giving myself permission to feel how I feel, to need what I need, to use the tools I have at my disposal to feel better, like my journal and my essential oils and stretches and naps and putting a blanket on me, wearing socks when I'm cold. Like seriously, it's about sleeping enough, drinking enough water, eating when I'm hungry, journaling, asking for help when I need help. So in the past year, Jay has been telling me, your only job, honey, is peak Tara. Prioritizing peak Tara over everything else in my life. Yes, even over kids and over Jay, because they deserve peak Tara. They would rather me ask for a night completely alone to just read and be left alone instead of not asking and biting their heads off all night. And by the way, I just double checked with Jay and he confirmed this is a fact. He would rather me ask for what I need and take it away from them in order to be peak Tara when I'm with them. This is true for you too. Might not be at the point where you feel that that's true. That's okay. Because here's the thing. All of our life, Jay has prioritized peak Jay. When Jay wants to go to bed, he goes to bed. If he needs to take a shower, he takes a shower. If he's hungry, he eats. He's not being selfish. He's taking care of himself so then he can be there for me. So when I ask for help, he's there. But I haven't done that for myself. And your kids want that from you too. Your family members might push against this. They might tell you you're being selfish. Extended family members. You just don't listen to them. They're not running your life. Your job is to bring peak you. That's it. It's going to help your business so much. So, by the way, with every new challenge in my life, I've had to learn this anew. I had it figured out for my business, and then we started fostering kids, and it all went downhill. I didn't care about peak tar at all. I didn't believe that peak tar mattered. It really does, man. It really makes a huge difference when I can show up as my best possible self versus putting every other need that could possibly be existing in any of my family's members' lives above myself. Now, does that mean that I always have a choice if I get enough sleep? No, of course not. If the baby wakes you up, the baby wakes you up. Does it mean that I get to eat as soon as I'm hungry? No, not if I'm in the middle of, slathering sunscreen on somebody. But it means that you prioritize it, that when you have the choice, you make the choice that is going to help you be the best you for everybody in your life, including yourself and including your business. So I certainly do not have everything figured out, or even most of it, but I'm proud of myself for keeping my business thriving, and above all, for growing myself and for creating something from scratch that didn't exist, something that I love and I'm so proud of. I wish for each of you the joy of being able to look back at what you've created for however long you've been working on it, and for knowing that you still have so much more ahead of you. You have so much more, whether you've been doing it 10 years or 2 months or 100 years, you still have more ahead of you. And that is okay that you're not where you thought you should be, because you're right where you are right now. What I said about you being the bottleneck, it's not an excuse for you to beat yourself up. It is a question to ask yourself, what am I ignoring? What am I not taking care of? Where am I keeping this area where I want growth? Where am I not letting it grow? Maybe it's in confidence. Maybe it's in skills or knowledge you need to gain. Maybe it's in trusting yourself. You get to choose. There's no shoulds. There's no beating yourself up because you're growing at exactly the right pace that's healthy and appropriate for you, considering everything else you have going on in your life. Honey, you're doing a lot, and you're doing your absolute best, as am I. I could say anything to Tara 10 years ago. It would be, you're doing your best. Things work out. You get to build this awesome career, and you can't make it happen any faster except for by doing your best. So to you, I want to say thank you so much for being here and for being a part of what I've been doing, whether it's you've been around for 13 years since I started, or 5 years of the podcast, or you've just tuned in for the first time. Hello, welcome. This month, we are throwing it back to the very best episodes of 2014. And in August, the best episodes, the most downloaded and most shared episodes of all time. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And I wish you a very enthusiastic week.